درود فراوان بر همه عزیزان. من پیام هستم و در مورد علوم معنوی تحقیق می‌کنم. باعث افتخاره که کانال ما مورد توجه شما قرار گرفته. بسیار خوشحال میشم ما رو سابسکرایب کنید و اگر از ویدیو خوشتون اومد لایک و کامنت بذارید و با دوستانتون هم به اشتراک بگذارید. ممنونم که توجه کردید. شما رو به دیدن ویدیو دعوت می‌کنم.
After the first steps, the path begins to reveal its true secrets. Techniques once hidden, guarded by initiatory schools from both the East and the West, now knock at your door. Energy sealing, personal magnetism, manipulation of subtle centers. These are not exercises for the curious, but practices that completely transform the way you feel, think, and live your life. In the first step of this journey, we learned how to feel this energy. We breathed consciously. We scanned the body. We lit the spark. Now the call is different. Now we must learn to shape this energy as the potter shapes clay, to direct it, protect it, purify it, magnetize it with intention. In this video, you will learn practices that go beyond theory, tools that, when applied with discipline and presence, have the power to unlock dormant centers, seal your vital force, and activate a new level of consciousness. We are no longer just talking about feeling energy. We are talking about using it consciously. We will explore techniques used by Tibetan monks, medieval Kabbalists, Renaissance alchemists, and shamans from various cultures to transcend the limits of ordinary human experience. If you are ready, the path will open. All energy that is cultivated must be contained. Every force that is awakened needs a center, and anyone who begins to shine must learn to protect themselves. Here begins one of the greatest secrets of energy work. It's not enough to generate energy. It must be sealed. The most common mistake among seekers is this: dedicating hours to practice, feeling heat, vibrations, even euphoria, and then losing it all in the chaos of daily life. Like water leaking through the cracks of a broken vase, energy also escapes through uncontrolled emotions, anxious thoughts, toxic interactions, or heavy environments. The ancients knew this. In Egypt, the opening of the mouth ritual, used to give life to a god statue or the soul of the deceased, was always followed by a sealing ritual. The force is released, but it is immediately contained, because what is not sealed disperses, and what disperses weakens. In Taoist traditions, this is known as closing the gates. After moving energy with Qigong or Neigong, the practitioner redirects it to the lower Tantien, below the navel, where it is stored like a seed of fire. He seals it with the mind and breath, as if closing a precious box. In Hermeticism, Franz Barden called this the consolidation of the magnetic fluid, essential for the subtle body to become impermeable to external influences. But what is this sealing in practice? It is a fusion of mindfulness, breath, and intention, a process that involves drawing all scattered energy back to the center, stabilizing it, and creating around the body a kind of vibrational membrane. This membrane is not imaginary. It can be felt as heat, density, a field. It is at once protection and altar. The first lesson of this video is understanding the energy center as the core of protection. Everything begins with the return to the center. In nearly all traditions, this center is located in the area below the navel. The Japanese hara, the Chinese tan tien, the center of gravity of Sufi dervishes. When you focus attention on this point, something shifts. The mind quiets, the body anchors. The energy field organizes itself. This is the point of balance between heaven and earth, between perception and action. It is in the center that chaos loses strength. Intermediate training demands that you learn to reside in this center, even in the midst of turbulence. And this requires practice. Techniques such as bringing attention to the center during difficult conversations, drawing energy back to the center before going to sleep, inhaling as if the air were being stored there, not in the lungs, but in the belly. Over time, the center becomes like a magnet. All dispersion returns to it. But even with a strong center, there are external forces at work all the time. People, places, memories. Everything vibrates. And not everything that vibrates is in harmony with your field. That's why the next step comes, the art of energy protection. Have you ever felt sudden fatigue after talking to someone? A weight on your shoulders after being in a crowded place? A strange feeling upon entering a house? This is not mystical sensitivity. It's your energy interacting with external fields. And if it is vulnerable, it absorbs, like a sponge. Esoteric traditions have always known this. That's why they developed techniques to create conscious protective fields. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. The ceremonial magician of the Golden Dawn would trace pentagrams of light to seal his space before any invocation. The Amazonian shaman would blow tobacco smoke over the body to create a protective cloud. The yogi visualizes a mantle of blue fire around the aura. In all these practices, the logic is the same. Intention shapes the shield. Energy protection is not a rigid armor. It is alive, pulsating, sensitive. It does not isolate you from the world, but makes you whole within it. When done correctly, it prevents energetic drains, dissolves subtle interferences, and elevates your frequency to the point of becoming invisible to certain vibrations. How is it done? With presence, with symbolism, with vibrational language. For example, at the end of an energy practice, you can visualize a golden sphere of light forming around you. See it as a living solar field, in constant motion, like the corona of plasma around the sun. Feel that this sphere responds to your inner state. The more centered you are, the more it intensifies. Another powerful practice is sealing breath. Inhale as if drawing back all the energy you emitted or let escape throughout the day. Bring it back to the center. Hold for a few seconds. Then exhale gently, sealing it with an internal command, such as, I am whole. I am sealed. I am present. You don't need to say it out loud. The field understands vibration, not words. Protecting your energy is an act of respect, not only for yourself, but for everything around you. Because those who walk through the world with leaking energy not only deplete themselves, they also contaminate. And those who walk through the world with sealed energy spread silence, clarity, and presence. To seal, center, and protect is more than a technique. It is a vibrational ethic. It is saying to the universe, my light belongs to me, and because it is whole, I can use it with wisdom. The great Indian mystic Paramahansa Yogananda taught, the conscious control of life force is the key to spiritual enlightenment and the awakening of Kundalini. Let us now explore techniques that develop this very capacity. In the Tantric tradition, we find the concept of prana, the universal vital force that can be guided through the nadis, energy channels, to purify and empower the human energetic system. Microcosmic orbit is a Taoist practice, adapted for the Western practitioner. In Chinese tradition, it is called the small heavenly circuit, and involves the conscious circulation of qi through the two main energy vessels, the governing vessel, dumai, which rises along the spine, and the conception vessel, renmai, which descends along the front of the body. Intermediate practice, microcosmic orbit. How to do it? Sit with your spine upright. Close your eyes and breathe deeply for a few minutes. Once you feel centered, bring your attention to the point located between the perineum and the genitals, known as Hui Yin. Visualize a sphere of golden light there, pulsing and vibrant. As you inhale, guide this luminous sphere up through your coccyx, slowly ascending the spine. Feel each vertebra being energized by this light. Continue rising until you reach the crown of the head, the point known as Bai Hui. As you exhale, let this energy descend along the front of the body, passing through the forehead, nose, throat, center of the chest, navel, and finally returning to the starting point. Repeat this circuit for 9 complete cycles, gradually increasing the speed of circulation. This practice harmonizes the energetic flow through the main meridians, balances the yin and yang aspects of the vital force, and builds an energy reserve that can be directed toward various purposes. Dr. James Oshman, in his work, Energy Medicine: The Scientific Basis, documents how the connective tissues of the human body form a continuous matrix that conducts subtle electrical currents. These structures correspond remarkably to the meridians mapped by traditional Chinese medicine thousands of years ago. Another powerful technique is the flow of the 3 forces, an adaptation of both Hermetic and Tantric practices. This technique works with the fundamental energetic triad present in multiple traditions: Shiva Shakti Bindu in Tantra, Sulfur Mercury Salt in alchemy, or the 3 pillars of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Intermediate practice: flow of the 3 forces. How to do it? Standing with your feet firmly grounded, shoulder width apart, raise your arms at a 45-degree angle with your palms facing upward. Visualize a stream of golden energy descending from the cosmos, entering through the crown of your head and filling your entire being. This is the celestial force, the masculine principle, the alchemical sulfur. Simultaneously, feel an emerald green current of energy rising from the earth, entering through your feet, filling your legs, and ascending through your body. This is the telluric force, the feminine principle, the alchemical salt. Allow these 2 currents to meet in your heart center, producing a 3rd force, a radiant violet light, the alchemical mercury, the balancing force. Let this violet light expand in concentric waves, radiating from your heart to the entire universe. This practice balances polarities, harmonizes your subtle energies, and creates a resonance field that facilitates conscious manifestation. As Gichtel, disciple of Jakob Böhme, once taught, the true laboratory of the alchemist is his own body, where the 3 primordial substances are continuously transmuted. There comes a moment, inevitable, when the seeker begins to feel something new between their hands. A subtle vibration, a warmth that doesn't come from outside, a gentle resistance, as if the air had gained density. It is in that moment they understand. The energy is no longer just within. It is beginning to extend outward. The body, now more centered and sealed, becomes a channel, and the hand, an antenna. In nearly all initiatory traditions around the world, the hands are considered living portals. The act of laying on hands, the ritual touch, the circular motion before the body. None of this is superstition. It is subtle science. It is spiritual technology. In the East, mudras, sacred gestures made with the fingers, have been used for millennia to activate and redirect energetic flows. Each finger, each joint, corresponds to elements, organs, and internal circuits. In the Western esoteric tradition, we hear of the magnetism of the hands, and how the initiate, by projecting their will through them, can perform healings, cleansings, activations, and even psychic influence. There is no fantasy in this, or rather, there is. But not in the fantastic sense. True magic is the realization that consciousness, when focused clearly, can shape subtle matter. As Eliphas Levi said, willpower is the greatest agent of magical power. But be mindful. Before trying to move energy outward, you must understand what you're emanating. Because the hands do not only channel energy, they reveal your internal state. If there is anxiety, it will be transmitted. If there is anger or haste, the vibration will become sharp. That is why the first step is always the same. Return to center. Throughout intermediate practices, something begins to happen spontaneously. The practitioner's energetic field gains coherence. Others perceive this as presence, a feeling that something is different about that person. Sometimes it's the gaze, other times the stillness around them, or the way people feel drawn, intimidated, or comforted. This is the beginning of personal magnetism. Do not confuse it with charisma. Charisma is psychological, magnetism is vibrational, and it is born from the stability of the inner field. It's as if the soul starts emitting audible signals in a forgotten language, but one that everyone, on some level, still recognizes. Magnetism manifests primarily through the hands. Studies in energy medicine, such as those by Barbara Brennan and Dr. Valerie Hunt, have shown that the palms emit detectable frequencies in sensitive instruments. Experienced healers emit stronger and more stable fields than ordinary people, and this can be measured, not just sensed. But here's the secret. The purer the intention, the more powerful the field. That's why real energy manipulation doesn't begin with a gesture, but with stillness. Not with a movement, but with a state. When that state is established, calm mind, fluid breath, clear intention, the practitioner can begin to manipulate subtle fields with the hands. Intermediate practice. Energy sphere. How to do it. Place your hands facing each other at chest level, as if holding an invisible ball. Take a few deep breaths and focus on the sensation between your palms. Gradually begin to move your hands in slow circles, or bring them closer and farther apart, as if shaping a globe. Over time, you will feel a subtle resistance, like a soft magnetic field. This is condensed energy between your hands. This sphere can be directed to a part of the body or charged with an intention and projected in a motion. The Taoists call this the pearl of energy. In Reiki, it's known as biosin, the perceptible accumulation between the palms. In Hermeticism, Barden describes it as fluidic condensation. Next comes the technique of energetic passes, used in schools of magnetism, spiritism, bioenergy, and shamanism. The practitioner uses hand movements over another's body, or their own, to cleanse, redistribute, or activate subtle flows. This can even be done at a distance, depending on the practitioner's sensitivity. The secret of the pass isn't in the gesture, but in the vibrational presence with which it is performed. Energy is not your servant, it is your partner. You don't move energy with your hand, you move it with the state that vibrates through it. Carlos Castaneda, in his teachings on Toltec shamanism, described how Don Juan taught him to perceive and manipulate the luminous fibers that connect all beings. This poetic description aligns with what trained clairvoyants across traditions report when observing the human energy field. The technique of the auric sphere comes from the Western Hermetic tradition and was taught by adepts such as Dion Fortune and William Gray. This practice develops your ability to expand, contract, and consciously modulate your energy field. Intermediate practice. Auric sphere. How to do it? Sit comfortably and center yourself with a few deep breaths. Visualize and feel your energy field as a sphere of light surrounding you completely. Start by sensing the current limits of this field. For most people, it extends a few inches from the physical body. For some, it may reach several feet. Inhale slowly, as if drawing vital energy into the center of your body. Now, as you exhale, consciously expand this sphere of light farther from your center. Do this gradually, establishing clear boundaries with each expansion. Expand until you reach the furthest comfortable extension. With the next breaths, gradually contract the energetic field, drawing it closer to the body, concentrating and densifying the energy. Continue alternating between expansion and contraction, developing flexibility and control over your auric field. This practice not only strengthens your energy membrane, protecting you from undesirable influences, but also enhances your ability to consciously project energy beyond the limits of the physical body. Dr. Valerie Hunt, a researcher at UCLA, conducted pioneering studies recording the body's electromagnetic fields during altered states of consciousness. Her research showed correlations between specific field patterns and psychological and spiritual states, providing scientific support for traditional descriptions of the subtle bodies. Advancing into a practical application of this ability, we explore the technique of directed projection, used in various traditions for energy healing, distant influence, and conscious manifestation. How to do it? Choose an object about 1 meter away. Center yourself and calm your mind. Now extend your hands toward the object, palms facing it. Visualize and feel a current of energy flowing from the centers of your palms, like a beam of focused light. Concentrate on sensing the object from a distance. Many practitioners describe a sensation of resistance, like pressing against an invisible membrane, or a feeling of warmth or tingling. This is the interaction between your projected energy field and the field of the object. Practice moving this projected energy up and down, side to side, tracing simple shapes in the air. Keep your focus steady and your breath calm. Over time, gradually increase the distance between you and the object. Franz Mesmer, whose research on animal magnetism in the 18th century was a precursor to many modern studies of subtle energy, demonstrated how projected energy could influence living organisms at a distance. His techniques, refined over generations, form the basis of what we now call therapeutic magnetism. The Russian mystic Gurdjieff taught that energy follows thought, and thought creates forms in the subtle world that eventually manifest in the material world. This understanding lies at the heart of conscious manifestation practices found in many esoteric traditions. Another powerful application of energy projection is the mirror shield technique, an advanced psychic protection practice taught in various Western mystery schools. How to do it? Centered in your energetic axis, visualize and feel your auric field transforming into a mirrored surface with the reflective side facing outward. Any negative energy or unwanted projection directed at you will automatically reflect back to its source without absorption or contamination of your field. The key in this technique is to maintain the intention of causing no harm, only of protecting your energetic integrity. As Hermeticism teaches, as above, so below. The law of correspondence shows us that our internal attitude is reflected in our energetic creations. Aleister Crowley extensively documented similar techniques in his writings on ceremonial magic, emphasizing that intention is the determining factor in the quality of projected energy. If you've made it this far in the video, you no longer need to believe, because now you can feel. Energy is no longer just a concept. It is part of your daily life, pulsing through your body, responding to your intention. You've learned how to contain it, protect it, channel it, and move it. But above all, you've learned that true control is not about force. It's about alignment. When body, mind, and intention vibrate in harmony, reality begins to listen and respond. These techniques are not just knowledge, they are invitations. Invitations to live with more clarity, more presence, more truth. The energetic journey has no end. It only deepens. And when energy begins to obey you, you understand. It was never the energy that needed to be controlled. It was you who needed to remember who you truly are. Thank you for watching.
ممنونم که تا پایان این ویدیو ما رو همراهی کردید. بسیار خوشحال میشم ما رو سابسکرایب کنید و اگر از ویدیو خوشتون اومد لایک و کامنت بذارید و با دوستانتون هم به اشتراک بگذارید. امیدوارم آگاهی روزافزون بر زندگیتان متجلی گردد.